True story, when I was 8, I got my first CB radio, and I remember the power that I thought it was to have your voice coming out of something. And I figured out how to permanently get the feed to go on Channel 19 in Fort Worth, Texas. And Channel 19 happened to also be the frequency that the local law enforcement used for activities. So after about 2 months of all kinds of broadcasting, you know, I'd come home after school and I'd play old Bill Cosby records, and I would introduce the sketches, and sometimes I would imitate the sketches and just replay them, me doing the parts that Bill Cosby would do. When my grandfather found out about it, he took the CB away. All of our actions have consequences. But I went from there, went to school in Chicago, and I knew that I wanted to study journalism. I knew that I wanted to study theology. Moody Bible Institute was just kind of the place where I found my way to. The thing I hate about television is that it's not radio, and there's just no way of getting around it. When you're doing a show from your basement studio, and you don't have to even put on a pair of pants in the morning if you don't want to, because nobody sees you and nobody cares, it's a whole different world than having to be at a studio 2 hours early, making sure your wardrobe doesn't have too many stripes on it, making sure you have all your zits covered up. And it's a sad fact of life. Television is a very shallow medium. It puts such an emphasis on looks and appearance and so forth, and God didn't bless me with much in that department anyway. So here's what I have to say about all that. It's a necessary evil to get to be with you every day, and I'm willing to do it. That I'm not the funniest guy on TV, not even close. I'm not the smartest guy on TV, I'm not even close. I might be the clearest thinking guy on TV, but I'm not even going to say that that's it. But what I find to be absolutely true, I am passionate about the fact that it can change radically people's lives. And sometimes that passion will well up and be almost irrepressible. You can't stop it. And I'm constantly trying to not let that come off as anger, but I am passionate about the life of the unborn child and the state of the family and the condition of children and what our society is doing to them, and why we need to protect our children's innocence, and why we need to help our daughters understand that their modesty is a veil of protection for them and not some sort of fundamentalist rap across the knuckles. Ultimately, what we as parents are able to get across by way of discipline and instruction in our household is going to change the country. And so I want to be about sowing in truth, even if from time to time I lose my cool in the process. And I guess if I really boil it all down, I believe that your belief in God is the bottom line of your foundation and your worldview. So if you believe in God to begin with, you're gonna go down a path that is going to take you to a place where certain moral conclusions are going to be drawn. And if you don't believe in God as the foundation of everything that you hold dear, you're going to end up in a different place in terms of your thinking. What determines our behavior? It's all based on what we believe. And aside from what we believe and how we act, eventually our reputation is going to be built off of those actions. And so I suddenly saw the connection that has been in place since the beginning of time, but what we think in our mind ends up becoming what we're known for. And how we get to that process sometimes is a lengthy one, sometimes it's one that takes years to work out. But what you think determines what you believe, and your beliefs shape your actions develop your reputation or your impact. And so that's become kind of the process that we expose every day. Ultimately, what the Kevin McCullough Show hopes to do is to be a vibrant, white-hot place where razor-sharp thinking is developed, and then the people that are exposed to it go back out into the culture and begin to change the world for the cause of what is true, just, and good. And there's only one source for that. It's the God who created us. Hi, Kevin McCullough, weekday mornings, 7 to 9 Eastern. You should be watching. You may not agree with everything, but you'll always be forced to think.